Maharaj actually met Srila Gurudeva in 1982, and he then took Diksha in 1996. So thank you so much, Maharaj, for coming on and sharing your words and glorification. You've got 15 minutes. Please take it away.
Aganatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Panchakalpatrubhishta Kripaya Sindhu Vaivacha Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavim Shukadaya Shadapikaya Padapani Krishna Shabhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Namani Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Before speaking, I offer my Kotilaka Satsang Dandavat Pranams to my Paramarthi Tam Pram Pujipat Nichilila Pravishnu Vishnu Parashta Satyashikna Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I offer all unlimited obeisances that lotus feet around special His divine grace to the Lord Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, the Grand Sai Guru Srila Bhaktivedanta Keshi Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj. Also offer my pranam to our sannyasi Gyan and Amat, especially Param Pujipad Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj and Nichilila Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Maharaj, all our sannyasi Gyan, Vaishnavis, and to Matrigan and to Vats, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to say something about Gurudev.
Maharaj, can you speak a little bit louder or more into the mic?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to glorify Gurudev. It's a rare opportunity, and this is a festival of miracles. So if we miss this opportunity, we'll have to wait 100 years for the next chance. I've heard from the lips of Sadhu Vaishnavas that to glorify the Vaishnavas is the key for our liberation and deliverance. So such a personality as Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, such an elevated Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotee and Parikar, associate of Supreme Lord, and dear Rasik Vaishnava, their association is so rare in this world. Those who have met Srila Gurudev, those who have heard from him, those who have even seen his picture about him, that is, any person has any contact will be inestimably benefited and blessed. And the whole purpose of the lives of such sadhus is to give blessings to the entire world. They have no malice, they have no cause to curse, they have no indifference to anyone, their hearts are soft and open to all those, especially those who render service to their beloved divine couple, then they are very, very ready to bestow mercy upon them. And many of the devotees in this group, worldwide, as Didi was saying, all over the world, there's so many persons participating in this festival this year. They were able to meet Srila Gurudev and experience that kindness. Gurudev explained once in the class that, we used to say this a lot, that just the glance of the Shuddha Vaishnava, just their touch, just one word, hearing them speak, is such a potent thing because from their body is emanating so much energy in the form of saffron particles of prema. Just as they're associates with Srimati Radharani, Radharani is Mahabhav Swarupani, the whole form consists of nothing more than Krishna prema and all the ecstasies and bhavs and anubhavs in relationship to unexcelled, perfect love of Krishna. Then their Shuddha Vaishnavas who are absorbed with Taratmik, with Radharani, their mood is also constantly in that, drawing that love and affection of Radharani in their heart for Krishna and following the footsteps of Radharani. In Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto, it's explaining that Tasman Nero Sangha Susanga Jate Gyanasineva Virika Moha Harim Taliha Katana Shrutavyam Labda Smritir Yati Atiparam Adivana. This is saying that a man's worldly illusion is destroyed by the sword of knowledge, and the sword is attained through the association with very exalted sadhus, those Sadhu Vaishnavas, while simultaneously giving up association of materialists. Then through the practice of hearing and reciting the pastimes of Sri Hari, he attains remembrance of his eternal relationship with him and reaches the highest limit of the spiritual path. So Krishna elsewhere explains that when at the time of a person's entanglement and bondage in material existence is coming to an end, those lapse and lapse of life, anxiety and suffering and distress, after so many lifetimes, Sri Krishna says the signature, the indication that that person's time in material life is coming to an end and his liberation is on the horizon of his good fortune. That is the signal of that is that he will come in association of a Mahapurush, a pure Bhakta, a pure devotee of Sri Krishna. And this is the blessing of someone like Gurudev. They live in this world only to give us hope for our future. Gurudev said, don't be hopeless. Understand that Mahaprabhu has come. Mahaprabhu is the great dancer. He's distributing in his Audurya Bhav, his unending compassion and love. Parama Karuna Pahudvijana Nitai Gaurachandra. Those two lords have come. They've appeared on the horizon of Bengal, eastern Bengal, and they're coming to distribute the divine love to all persons. And by their agency of their 64 Mahants, their eternal associates, such as Srila Gurudev himself and the associates of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they come to this world to give us our maximum opportunity of our unlimited, ultimate and final benefit. And Mahaprabhu himself says, Ashraya Laya Bhaje Tara Krishna Hyache Ara Shaba Mora Akarana. That one who performs bhajan under the shelter of saintly devotees who are the abode of love for Sri Krishna is never neglected by Sri Krishna. Everyone else lives in vain. One must be in anugatya, under the guidance of Sri Guru, in order to do bhajan. So this is the point that the Guru is Ashraya Tattva, just as Srimati Radharani is Ashraya Tattva. And Ashraya means shelter, just like an umbrella will shelter us from the rain. If we take true shelter at the lotus feet of such an exalted, eternal associate of the Supreme Lord, then that shelter itself, by our act of surrender and by our act of pious application to their lotus feet, for their mercy, for their help, for their assistance, in sincerity, then the devotee can be delivered from the worst type of fear. This means this repeated birth and death in which the soul is plunged into endless species of life and all sorts of terrible situations. And Sarasanga Krishna Bhakti Sariyarihai Bhakti Phala Premahaya Sangsarayashe. When a Sarak Bhakta, he obtains Paramarthi Shraddha in the association of Rasik Vaishnavas who are more advanced than himself, he very quickly obtains the fruit of Bhakti Prem and his material entanglement is easily dissipated. So this is also the gift that someone like Srila Gurudeva is able to give. Very rare in this world. There's a story told by our sadhus, it's told by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Puri Maharaj about the cat who's getting old, and he starts to have difficulty catching mice. So he decides to dress as a sadhu. He puts on a saffron cloth and a lungi, a bahiras, lower cloth, and he takes a danda and he sits and he waits for his friends, mice and rats, to come and see him, and they say, "Oh, you're a sadhu?" Yes, I'm a sadhu now. I've gone to spiritual life. I'm getting old now. He said, "I'm very sorry. When I was a cat, in my cat life, I used to take some of your mice and your friends, and I ate them. But now I've converted. I've taken to spiritual life, and my character is good. And if you want to come and listen to me, I'll give you classes." So he starts preaching to the rats, and then impress, pay for the sins of my offences I committed, upsetting so many of the poor rats. I will go on pilgrimage. I'm going to the Himalayas, and if you want, you can come with me. So all the rats say, "Yes, let's go on pilgrimage and join this sadhu cat." We can see he has good character now. He's a very, very good cat. We can benefit from his association. Of course, he starts walking on pilgrimage. The rats follow him, and every night they're sleeping, and the cat very cleverly manages to eat a couple of the rats. And after a while, their numbers diminish, and they start to see, oh, this cat, this sadhu baba, is not really a genuine sadhu. So in the same way, in Kali Yuga, there are many, many false prophets, false sadhus, those who wear the cloth of renunciance, but in their hearts they harbour so much calm, coming and pratishta. And Chaitanya and Bhagavan Bhagavan Shivji, he explains to Parvati that there are many, many things in this world, many, many gurus are there, but there's only one very rare, genuine guru who can avoid and remove the suffering of his disciples. And this is the one who can give deliverance. But that guru is very strict. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Guru is like the priest with a sacrificial knife. He cuts the neck of the goat in a sacrificial format. In other words, he has no mercy for the illusion. He has no time for the falsehood or the maya of the disciple. And therefore, he may appear to be sometimes very, very strict, as Mahaprabhu was. He was strong like a thunderbolt, yet soft and sweet like the fragrance of the rose. So spiritual life is not something that we can be lax about. Srila Prabhupada reminds us it's like the razor's edge, very, very strict. But to meet a guru like Srila Gurudeva, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, who extended himself to people all around the world and was offering that bona fide shelter of a high, Uttam Vaishnava, Rasik Vaishnava. What is Rasik Vaishnava? He's so familiar with the intimate pastimes of the divine couple, Radharani and Krishna. And he was able to teach from the very beginning. He began teaching us from Bhacha Vegam, Manasakota Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarapasta Vegam. He said, start at the very beginning. And then in his classes, he emphasized over and over again how the important thing for us to develop in spiritual life is to accept the doctrine of Sadhu Sangha and also Vaishnava Seva. We have to serve the Vaishnavas, serve our devotees, wherever we get a chance, we should take that and seek that every day in our life. And he said, our only prayer should be to always pray to the Lord to give me good association. Please allow me to have that Sadhu Sangha so I can remember you and not be distracted by Maya. And that Sadhu Sangha is that, like the lotus feet of the Guru are like the boat, just like the feet of Mahaprabhu are the boat which takes us across the ocean of material existence. In the same way, the devotees' lotus feet are that shelter for the world. And Gurudev, in explaining that, he was always the example of service to the sadhus. He said he served his Guru Maharaj faithfully, and his Guru Maharaj, he captured the heart of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Prabhu Keshav Maharaj, by his sincerity, by the pure nature of his seva in so many occasions, especially when he took to the care of Ananga Mohan Prabhu, who was very ill from tuberculosis. No other people of their community wanted to care for him closely. And Param Gurudev requested Srila Gurudev to care for this Ananga Mohan in the last days of his life, which he did. He took him to a sanatorium in Madras and also in Himalayas and different places. And then he also contracted tuberculosis, Gurudev. But he says that Ananga Mohan was so dear to his Param Gurudev took so much effort to help him. And when that Ananga Mohan finally was breathing his last, he was calling out, Radha and Krishna's come for me. Radha and Krishna's calling me. They want me to come. Ha Gurudev, ha Baba, Param Gurudev. He's calling and calling like that. And Gurudev was so amazed to see this. And Gurudev prayed to that Ananga Mohan. He said, please, when you go there, ask Radha and Krishna also to give me a place in their place and to serve them and to give me a place in their entourage like that. So this is the caliber of the people that we're trying to aspire to associate with, to become their eternal associates, to become their servants. First, we have to learn how to serve them here, and then later on, they'll allow us to enter that realm when we're ready. It may take some time, but we have to have hope. We can't give up. And we know that as Gurudev was faithful to Param Gurudev, we have to always aspire that we can also follow in the path of the footsteps of Gurudev. And the biography that Gurudev gave of Param Gurudev is one of the most wonderful books. He put it together and tells all the story of Param Gurudev's different parikrams and his preaching endeavours and all the glorious things he did. My favourite story is where Param Gurudev goes to a village in Assam and he's preaching in front of 5,000 devotees and Assamese people. And Param Gurudev is explaining very strongly the necessity to accept the Srimad Bhagavatam as it's explained by Vyasadeva and Vaishnava Siddhanta and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, Assam is a Vaishnava country, but they have some differences. They worship the Bhagavatam and the Tulsi, but their Siddhanta is a little bit more Kevala Advaitavad, and they follow an Acharya who wrote a commentary called Shankarvad, so they follow that idea. And one devotee in the crowd who calls out to Param Gurudev, he said, hey, you're telling us to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow Vyasadeva, but we have our own commentary, we follow Shankardev. At which point Param Gurudev, fearlessly, he spoke up in front of 5,000 people, there's a few brahmacharis beside him on the stage, and he said, what you are following is not Vedic, it is not authentic, and it is probably only no more than 200 or 300 years old, and it cannot get you the goal of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In which which time, the people in the crowd became very angry, and they started to throw bricks, as one as they do in India. They started throwing bricks at Param Gurudev and missiles, and it was a bit of a melee for a few moments, and all the brahmacharis on the stage, the commentary says they all ran off the stage. But Param Gurudev, he sat there fearlessly, and of course none of them, by the Krishna's mercy, none of them were able to harm him or touch any of the missiles they hurled. And after a few moments, things became still. Param Gurudev said, and anywhere we go, it is our duty to speak the truth according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra, like that. So Param Gurudev was such a powerful figure, such a fearless figure, and apparently just after that, the next day, the people in the village were so impressed by Param Gurudev's strength and courage that many of those people in that area then began to become his disciples and take Siksha and Diksha and Harinam from Param Gurudev. So this is the thing. We have Srila Gurudev representing this Sampradaya. He's a perfect example of Sampradaya. And we know that when he returned, he had to return to his family after he went to the mutt for the first time, because he was traveling again with Ananga Mohan and Param Gurudev. They took Ananga Mohan to one place, a hill station, but on the journey, they met one distant relative of Gurudev, who was a cousin brother from Tiwaripur, his home village. And that cousin said, "Oh, where have you been? We don't know where you are." And he asked him questions. He spoke to him in a very friendly way. And Param Gurudev indicated what he had become a monk, and he'd gone to the mutt now. He was staying. "Where are you staying?" His relative cousin brother said, "Please give me your address." He gave him all his details. "I'm staying in Navadvip Dhamdevan and Gauri Mutt." And immediately that relative, Param Gurudev, was guileless, simple-hearted. He didn't suspect anything. He gave his address. And that cousin brother immediately telegraphed the family who were waiting in such distress. And immediately they formed a large party and they went straight to Navadvip. And they got Gurudev and convinced him to come back, or they forced him to come back. And Param Gurudev said, "Let him go," because the family is feeling so strongly about it. So our Gurudev did go back to his family village in Tiwaripur for some time. And then all the family gathered together and they gave a very strong meeting, and they said, "You must all now settle down here and stay with your family. You can be a spiritual man, that's all right, like your grandfather was. You can follow brahmacharya, become very powerful like a bull, and all these things." And then they got one of their senior members of their Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya. He came. He was also there preaching to Gurudev. And then they were impressed because they thought Gurudev would simply acquiesce to them. But then he started asking questions. "What do you understand?" And he was thinking he was going to convince Gurudev that according to his philosophical conception, he would keep Gurudev there. And then he simply started asking, "What do you understand of Vashishta Veda?" which is the philosophy of Ramanuja, their Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya, and qualified monism. And then Gurudev gave such a very good answer. He was very impressed. The scholar that was there, and many other people had come to hear this discussion. And then he asked him, "Please give me information of this other Sampradaya." So Gurudev was able to explain very clearly, very perfectly, very great. The fourth Sampradaya, to impress them to such an extent that they realised that he really has become a sadhu. And finally, the last was obviously you have attained sadhu sangha. This is very rare in this life. You won't ask anything more of you. And because of Gurudev's strength in philosophy, even at such an early stage, just by hearing from a bona fide guru, he was able to defend himself, even in the midst of his family members who had the ropes of attachment. Very, very great attachment, very, very great family attachment. Very hard thing to break, especially in India where the families are so strong. But still, Gurudev, he showed such determination and such faith in the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti-Prabhu and Keshav Maharaj that he was able to triumph. Have we got enough time left?
You've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay. 2 minutes left? Okay, 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
So Gurudev's also given us so many beautiful books, and he's given us PureBhakti.Tv, which is very important. He also lectured a lot from the beginning about Gurudev, the types of devotees, from the Shuddha, the Gita, Paramarthi, Bhakti, we have to understand the and the capacity of these devotees and go through. And he laboured these points again, and we travelled all the way up to that. He brought the devotees again to understand that they're the highest. To take those in Sri Krishna, headed by Radharani, who Krishna himself says he cannot even repay them their dedication, their love. And as Krishna made Radharani cry so much, to be very, very clear that we want to be Radhika Palyadasi, we want to be in the Gana of Radharani, we want to be in the Yuta Radharani, in the Gana of Radharani, and Yanagacha of Srila Goswami, and then we'll progress in Bhakti nicely. And Gurudeva reminds us, Vrindavan Shri Vaiguru Palila, Sobhagya Kili Karunajala Davadehi, Dasi Bhavani Sobhyanti Sadasa Kantam, Tam Malibi Parabhitami Damivi Achche, Srila Raghunath Goswami prays, O Devi, O Radhika, please allow me to be in your association when you are together with Krishna, enjoying the pastimes with your Sakis, and I'm there in a mood of servitorship, serving the lotus feet of you together. And then this is the goal. And even higher than that. Yeah.
Can everyone turn off their cameras, please, so we can help Maharaj better his connection? Okay, doesn't seem to be working.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful offering. Sorry, the connection was just a little bit bad towards the end, but you spoke such beautiful words. So thank you so much for that.